Right now, we're living in a world that is going to change in the next 5 years more than any time in all the accumulated time of human history. There is no exaggeration in that. Why? Because there's technology just beginning now. It's at its earliest stage in its explosion. Whether it be nanotechnology, artificial intelligence, robots, we are on the verge of the biggest change. In the next 5 years, the next 3 even, but the next 5 years more than you could ever dream of. Most people are not prepared for it. Studies show that about 40% of traditional jobs are going to go away. Already in countries around the world where they have high-tech centers, like Silicon Valley in my country, unemployment is growing massively overnight. Mark Benioff is one of my friends who has Salesforce.com, one of the biggest companies in that area. He's increased his productivity over 50% and reduced his headcount by about 18%. High-end people, software engineers, no longer have a job because AI can do in seconds what took them months. It used to be people are afraid that blue-collar jobs are going away. Actually, who's making a lot of money right now? And the future will be plumbers, electricians. They make a fortune. But if you're an office worker, or a secretary, or an assistant, those jobs can be done better than you. Many doctors' jobs, diagnosing part, can be done better than you. They're building robots that'll be better than you. As we speak, this is not 20 years in the future. So I have 5 children, 5 grandkids. How many of you have kids or grandkids? Great. I look at my life, I'm set. I'm in a beautiful life. I love what I do. I'm not worried about these things because I'm growing, I'm learning it all, I'm using it all. But how can you make sure you or your children can do well when the world changes? Because right now I know you feel probably a bit of a recession here in Germany. Overall, and the psychology that comes with a recession. And people start thinking, how is today is how it's gonna be forever. When things are going well, they think it's gonna go well forever. When things are going poorly, they think it's gonna go poor forever. That's how human brains work. That's not how life works. Change happens in an instant, and it can be explosive today. And it is, and it will be even more. So how can you succeed? Jot it down. There's 3 skills you better develop. And if you have kids, you gotta teach them this as well. If you learn these 3 skills, you will not have to think ever again or worry about your future ever. Skill number 1, you must be great at pattern recognition. Pattern recognition, what does that mean? You know what creates fear? Is not knowing. Like, I hear people in my country, and I don't know what it's like in yours, there's a lot of conflict between the right and left in my country. How many of you have conflict in your country between right and the left? There's always conflict, but it seems extreme, and people in my country are saying, it's the worst it's ever been. This is horrible, it's never been like this. And they clearly have no education whatsoever. And I usually, in my country, bring out 2 placards from the founders of America. 2 of the founders, Thomas Jefferson and John Adams. And I say, these guys make Republicans, Democrats look like choir boys. And this is what they have here. I'll read it to you in case it's not your country. Thomas Jefferson was the founders of America. When he was running against John Adams put out these posters. It'd be the equivalent of negative ads today. And the ad said, if you elect Thomas Jefferson, murder, robbery, rape, incest, and adultery will be practiced throughout the land. Are you prepared to see your dwellings in flames, your female chastity violated, or your children writhing on a pike? And then Jefferson responded with his placards to attack Adams, saying, John Adams is importing mistresses from Europe or trying to marry one of his sons to the daughter of King George. If you're British, don't take offense, but at that time, that was very deadly. He's a hideous, hermaphroditical character with neither the force or firmness of a man nor the gentleness or sensibility of a woman. See, everything in life is circular. There are seasons to everything. There are seasons to your life, and if you recognize that pattern, you will not be fearful. You go, oh, this has happened to me ever. When the economy changes, it happens all the time. You go through a recession. What follows a recession? What always follows a recession? Come on, tell me. Growth. True or false? Every major market in the world, when it crashes, what does it do? It grows again. Some take a little longer than others, but they do. What always follows wintertime? Always. Springtime. What always follows the dark night? Beautiful day. See, if you were God of the universe, wouldn't that be a cool way to set things up? It would make people grow, wouldn't it? But if you don't recognize patterns, you'll freak out. You'll think, oh my God, there's something wrong with me, something wrong with the country, we're never going back, the whole thing's gonna end. This is how people think, right? When the truth is, when you recognize patterns, it starts to give you power. Just the beginning of power, because you're no longer fearful. You go, oh, I'm making myself depressed. Here's what I'm doing in my body. Or I can make myself feel great. And it's not bullshit, it's not fake, it's not phony, it's real, it's biochemical. Not with a drug, by knowing how to direct my body and mind. That's a very different game than, oh my God. Second skill, once you recognize the pattern, you're not fearful, now skill number 2 is utilize patterns. When you know how to use patterns, you become powerful. That means, for example, you don't even know how to play a piano. So what do? You study someone else's patterns. Someone, Beethoven, came way before you and he developed these patterns that if you play these keys this way, it lifts the human spirit. So you copy, you recognize the pattern, and then you start to use the pattern. And as you use it, you produce the same result that Beethoven did. If you use your body the same way, you'll feel the same way. If you use it this way, you'll feel like all the other depressed people. Once you use patterns, not just recognize them, use them, then you have the power to change anything in your life. If you know anyone that's really good at anything, they're great in business, they're great in investing, they're great in relationships, they're great with their body, they're a great musician, it's because they recognize patterns and know how to use them with precision to get the result. If you're a filmmaker and you're Spielberg, who's been doing it for 40 years, he knows how to bring the camera slowly in to change your emotion, or fast, or pull it back. He knows instantly how to change what's going on in you. He knows exactly which pattern to use to get the result he wants. That's what I want you to do, so you can be the creator, the writer, the director, producer of your life, instead of the actor running someone else's script. Who's with me here? Say I. That's what it's about. Does that make sense? And so if you're good at business, there's patterns of business. The reason now I've got 114 companies, I'm doing over 10 billion. I couldn't even do 200,000 in the beginning. I was stressed out. Getting to 1 million was a giant goal. And when I did it, I was exhausted because I didn't understand business. I was what I'd call a business operator. Operators are always stressed. I learned how to become an owner. Now I got 114 companies, 10 billion. I'm not even there 90% of the time. I'm here with you, doing what I love. And I enter in there strategically where I need to. All that came from understanding there's patterns in business. There's patterns in investing. There's patterns in music. There's patterns in human emotion. Once you know them, you have power. Third skill, if you get to this, your life really changes. And that is becoming a pattern creator. That's when you start becoming the creator. Now you've played other people's music so often that one day you've done enough other people's patterns in your body that you go, no, let me try something. And you build on the shoulders of who you've learned from, and now it's you coming through, and you play this incredible melody, and you feel incredible that you pulled this off. Or you figured out suddenly, after doing business for years and struggling, you learn these patterns, and like, boom, you turn the business around, and then you learn how to do another one, and now you got 4 businesses, and you couldn't run one before. And less time. Because you understand how to create patterns now, not just recognize it's happening, or just even use it. This is what mastery will bring you. You don't just suddenly start creating your own patterns. You got to go through all 3 steps. First, you got to recognize it, get good at recognizing, then good at using it, and after enough time, you start creating it. And we'll attack it in different ways, because we'll look at your emotions, your energy, your body, your relationships, all are affected by these patterns. Now, what gets in the way though, as I said earlier, it's expecting it to be the same all the time. Like you meet somebody, you're out of your mind, you're totally in love, you're excited about them, you have these dreams of what you're gonna do, you get together, maybe you get married, you have these pictures, and then it's all wonderful, and then one day it's like, who the f are you? Who's experienced this before, where you were totally excited in a relationship and then suddenly it dropped out? Say I. But what I was starting to say is, what gets in the way of understanding these patterns is we forget there's seasons of our life. In fact, the greatest transformation in humanity's history began when we made one pattern recognition and started to use it. And it was the recognition of the pattern of the seasons. That's what took humanity from hunter-gatherers running around trying to survive to be able to stay in one place, build gardens, have food, build a family, build a community, build a township, build a nation. That's how we came to dominate the earth, for better or worse, I don't know, but that's how we came to dominate the earth, because we understand the seasons. Why? Because listen to me, can you do the right thing at the wrong time? If you do the right thing at the wrong time, if you plant in the winter, are you gonna get the crop?